we are continuing to give you continuous updates on our winter storm, calling it a winter storm and not a snowstorm, because you may be hearing it already. A big change over to sleet in a lot of our neighborhoods. With this 10 a.m. update, we have a lot of new information, including some new snow totals that are rolling on in here, and also the latest on where that snow ice line is. So we've been watching this all morning, this snow to a wintry mix, which is happening in a good chunk of our viewing area, and even the potential of some freezing rain as we move toward this afternoon. What makes this storm different from a lot of our other winter storms, if it would just quit tonight, it wouldn't be that memorable. But the problem is that we have this brutal cold to follow, and it is just going to be an absolutely tough week, both by day and night, of cold air. It's single digits at night, maybe even near zero, and highs in the teens and low 20s. That means that the road conditions this time around after this storm are really going to be slow to improve. You'll see your major interstates clean up first, but those side, secondary streets, alleyways, some of those may have a real tough time getting back to normal condition, especially if they're not cleared in the next, let's say, 36 hours or so. So it's a marathon, not a sprint. So what I'm showing you right now is we have a lot of sleet showing up. This is not the traditional radar view that you're used to seeing, which is the reflectivity of the blues and the greens. This is a different channel of the radar, which tells me what types of stuff are falling from the sky. It's called the correlation coefficient. So there's a good deal of sleet now, even in our distant northern and western suburbs, up through areas of Baltimore County. So Cockeysville just an hour or two ago was heavy snow, now over to heavy sleet, even into Harford County. We'll move the radar over to the south and east, and you can see some of that heavier sleet will widen out the picture here, moving up from Goldsboro, all of Caroline County, all of Queen Anne's, Kent County now with sleet. The only place that looks like it still might be heavy snow is in and around Cecil County, and that's pretty far away from the radar beam, so it may be even starting to sleet up in that direction. That doesn't mean we're done with accumulations, though, as this storm will be producing a good deal of sleet. This is the traditional view of the radar, and that's why I just showed you the other view, because this radar algorithm is kind of being tricked out right now. It thinks it's all snow. So there are some snowflakes mixed in here, but a good chunk of it is sleet. And so what this means is the accumulations you have on the ground, and a lot of you are up to around 6 inches of snow, is that it won't stack up as quickly as it was early this morning. You're still going to get probably another 2 or 3 inches, but it's going to be a different texture, and it's going to be really heavy to remove. Let's zoom it out a little bit more. Now the radar kind of catching on to the mix here, down to the south here, freezing rain moving through the northern neck of Virginia. And so this is going to be an issue here, especially for our areas to the east of Interstate 95. As I mentioned, some brand new snow totals coming in here, and we're going to be getting new ones. I'm actually just going to pop it up on the computer here just to see if we have anything new involved. And it looks like we do not. Cockeysville, 7 inches. So that's a new total in here. We'll be getting these continuously throughout the morning. So Towson, 7.2. Edgemere on the eastern edge of Baltimore County, 7 inches. Columbia, Howard County, a little over 6.5. Same with Damascus, 6.7. Abingdon up in Harford County, 6.5. And Barclay over on the eastern shore at 5.5 inches of snow. Not stopping there. Reisterstown up in the county, 6.5 inches. Westminster, 6.5. And some of these are a little dated, so they may be closer to 7 now with the sleet and snow mix that are falling. Mount Airy in southwestern Carroll, 6.2. So a half a foot already and continuing to climb here. Bel Air, 6 inches. Severn, Anne Arundel, and in Catonsville in the southern end of Baltimore County, 6 inches of snow. So we'll continue to update that. Our first alert meteorologist, Rochelle J., put this together. This is great because it kind of shows you where that banding was of the heavier. So right along the Interstate 70 corridor, you can see up and down the Beltway, so kind of right in the heart of the metro. The northern end where you don't see those darker colors, that's because the snow arrived a little bit later and it's still snowing up there. So I would imagine that would fill in as well. We always like snowfall reports. Everybody wants to see a snow total for their neighborhood, but it just doesn't magically appear. We have to get it from somewhere. So the more of you that go out there and do this for us, the more reports that we can give to our viewers, and you can be a part of the process. What we need you to do is take a ruler and go out there and take 3 separate measurements in an area that's kind of wind protected. And when you take those 3 measurements, write them down and divide by 3, and that'll give you the average here. And then when you send it on in here, note your location, because that's super important. And then send that information to pictures@wjz.com. And if you want to take a picture with that measurement, we would love that too. So that's even better. All right, first alert radar, again, like I said, change it. So what I'm going to do is flip this over to the widespread mode here and show you kind of just how big this storm system is here. It extends the tail of it all the way down to Memphis, Tennessee. Let's put this into motion and show you the progression here over the last 6 hours or so. And you'll be able to see that this storm system, the front end was heavy thump of snow. We told you about that. But now we're starting to get into the later stages of the storm. And now it gets a lot more messy and also challenging to remove. We're starting to get more sleet, some freezing rain. When you start to see this kind of what it looks like a Skittles bag here of candy, that is different forms of precipitation, including sleet, which are those little BBs that hurt, and then freezing rain, which basically freezes on contact. So in terms of winter weather, we have plenty more of it to go, encouraging you to stay off the roadways. It's been challenging. We've been watching a lot of people have a rough time of it. So it's a Sunday. If you don't need to be anywhere, just kind of hang out. It's going to be a little while here before those side and secondary streets get cleared as well. And so the less people on the roadways, the better. Right around 8 o'clock, that's when things should start to wind down. 6 inches for much of the state here. When you include the sleet totals here, I think everybody gets about 6 or more. A lot of us in that 7 to 9 range. And then a few places north and west may get 10 or more, but that's looking a little less likely with the faster changeover. Storm forecasting is usually never perfect. There's usually one spot that doesn't make it. So overall, pretty good forecast, but that mix did move farther to the north pretty quickly. In terms of ice, this is what the bulk of the afternoon we're dealing with. That's going to be weighing down the snow. So if you have the opportunity, go out, remove that fluffy snow, and it probably has a little bit of a crust with sleet now. It's going to be a lot easier than waiting for 2 more inches of sleet to fall on it. So I know it's not comfortable. It's miserable outside. It's going to be a lot more miserable if you wait later on in the game in terms of trying to remove that stuff. It's going to turn into concrete. And then the layers of this storm that make it just so almost annoying and problematic is the duration and what follows it. Cold, and it will be brutal cold. So not only is that tough on your car, it's tough on you, it's tough on the pipes, and travel just won't be the same here for a little while until we get above freezing. Our in-house model is being very aggressive with freezing rain here this afternoon. Right now, we're not buying totally into that idea. We're expecting some sleet and then maybe some light freezing rain, freezing drizzle. Worst case scenario is that freezing rain does make it to I-95. We do have a number of models suggesting it here, but the atmospheric profile is a lot colder than it normally is. So that's why our uncertainty is a little bit greater there, and that's why you should stick with us. Our whole weather team will be here all day long, so any curveballs this storm tries to throw at us, we'll be on top of it for you. Feels like 5 at noon, 15 at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, 19 at 8 o'clock. The country is just frozen over. The only spot is Miami, 82 degrees. I wonder what a plane ticket costs to go there right now, because that is probably the most valuable spot in the country given how extensive this cold is. And look at the next few mornings. This is dangerous to humans, to pets. Make sure that you are wearing multiple layers, hats, gloves. We're going to sound like a broken record, but we really can't hit this home hard enough that this is a different type of cold that we're going to be going into. Again, the widespread radar will be showing this throughout the day. We're getting into the messy part of the storm. First alert, 7-day forecast. Here we go, 27 today. The alert day for the winter storm. It's more of a sleet and freezing rain scenario with just some leftover snow to the north, down to 22 tonight. A lot of school delay, or not delays, probably school closings tomorrow for the next couple days, and then more alert days possible at the end of the week. We're going to have another update at 10:30.